WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting often rare and exotic whiskeys. Not so rare, not so exotic, but a story. Booker's 2023 02E. So, now in America, you have 4 batches a year at the moment. You had the 2023-01 Charlie's batch with, what was it here? 7 years, 1 month, 8 days, 33.3% ABV. We have here the Apprentice batch, 7 years, 1 month, and 2 days with 62.75%. You have in America, which we don't have, is the 03 version Mighty Fine batch with 63.3% ABV, 7 years, 1 month, and 10 days. And what just recently came out, which we will never see in America, is the Storyteller batch 04 from 2023 with 63.9% ABV, 7 years, 2 months, and 29 days. Now, I don't know if you've ever read the label here, all right? So it says the following. I'm sure you've read it, but do you remember it? The whiskey in this package is the highest grade bourbon made by me, Booker No, here at Jim Beam. It is uncut, which means no water added, and bottled straight from the barrel. My grandfather Jim Beam liked his whiskey from 6 to 8 years old. So we're probably only ever going to get 6 to 8 year old Bookers, which is just fine by me. I like 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old Bookers. All right, do I need 9-year-old, 10-year-old stuff? Probably not. Now, the interesting thing is if you go to Booker's Bourbon, one word, bookersbourbon.com, and you can go to the batches, you can see exactly the composition of this whiskey. So for our Apprentice batch, we have 7% from the 7th floor of a 9-story warehouse called H. Then the rest of it is all 4th floor. And 9% from warehouse W, 11% from warehouse 1, 18% of warehouse O, 19% from warehouse G, which interesting enough also had then 9 stories, and 36% came from the 4th floor of the 7-story warehouse Z. Now, this is fairly middle 7. Now, if you look at the Charlie's batch, it's basically all 5th floor. And if you go up to the Mighty Fine batch, it's mostly 6th floor. So 5th and 6th floor. And if you even go up over here to the Storyteller's batch, it is 5th and 6th floor only. And so I'm kind of wondering, 4th floor, was there actually a need for this? Did they do it because what happens is we have in Europe, we have 700 milliliter bottles. So they actually do then the Apprentice batch. They fill it up in 750. They change the bottle size to 700 and they fill it up. And instead of getting the nice little blue label, we get this, I'm going to say bland, pedestrian type of ordinary brown label. So we've been getting this brown label, at least my oldest bottle with the brown label is the 2015. So I have the 2015-02. I'm not going to open this up. So what I am going to do is I'm going to compare this to a couple of different things that I like. For example, the Lumberyard batch. This is the 2022-02 batch that we got over in Germany with the nice little label. Thank you, Jim Beam. Do this more often. We want the label. This is fantastic. There was such a rush. There was such a happiness. There was such a excitement in the bourbon community in Europe when we saw this the first time, and then we went back to this. It was like, oh. So, give us a name. You get a name in America. Why don't we get a name? All right. So the next one I'm going to do is the 2021 batch. This is 2021-01. So this would be in America, the 2021-01 is the Donahoe's batch, 6 years, 11 months, 4 days, 125.3 proof. This is the Lumberyard batch with 7 years, 1 month, and 7 days with 24.8. And this is 7 years, 1 month, 2 days, and 25.5. Now I do have the 2022, the 2022-01E. This was the Granny's batch. I did not like this. This was nasty. All right, this was very, very herbaceous. This was very, very weird. This was not Booker's that I know and love. These are leftovers from my German video, all right? So we have cask strength whiskey. So why not just enjoy cask strength whiskey at cask strength? So even when I pour a little bit more of this in here. We get one batch a year in Europe. We do not get the 4, and whoever decides is going to be batch number 01 or 02. It's just filled up for us, comes over. Interesting enough, it hits like one shop, and then they have enough for like 3 weeks, and then they're sold out, and then another shop gets something, and they raise the price off to another 5 or 10 euros. Oh, what did I pay? I haven't even mentioned that at the moment. So I have here a price of 82 euros and 98 cents. So just call it 83 euros. All right, interesting enough, this came over around 72 euros, and this came over around 62 euros. Do you see a trend? In America, we went from basically 50 to 60 to 70 to 80 to 100 almost, and we're following this trend. Yeah, this was 62, 72, 82. So those are the trends that we're going to have. Sometimes you found a shop that sold it for 68 or 64, and it's like, oh, buy, and they were sold out within hours, if not days. But now we're just slowly adding thereon. Also interesting, we have here distilled and bottled by James B. Bourbon Distilling Company in Claremont, Kentucky. Then we have Beam Suntory in Glasgow, Scotland. And then, since this went to the European Union, we have Beam Suntory in Madrid, Spain. We have 3 different locations on this back of the bottle. Claremont, Glasgow, and Madrid. Because we in the European Union need to have an address in the European Union. Scotland's no longer there. In order to have recalls and have our legal authority in that country. So let's nose these, let's try these, let's give a evaluation of these 3 that have made it over here to Europe. So, officially. Now on the nose, this is good. I like Booker's. I am not a Booker's hater, I'm a Booker's lover. I expect and I want excellence from you. I'm going to pet this little bottle here and just enjoy this. This was so delicious. I think I went through about 6 bottles of this, but I was at a lot of whiskey fairs and I was at a stand, I had a booth, and that was one of my bottles I had, and people would come and say, oh, yeah, let me try that, and they were like, every single person that had it in the glass was so positively impressed and amazed at this whiskey that it was a pleasure pouring this and saying, hey, try this, look at this. It was better than most of the products I brought over to Europe as well with the importing of the company from N10. But this is good. There's a little bit of there's wood, there is a little bit mahogany, there is a little bit of brown sugar, we have the pecan nut, but we also have a little bit of a chemical type of acetone funk going on in here. This is not perfect. This is not perfection. This is on the nose, a C plus B minus whiskey. Let's go for B minus. It's a good day today. This is a B minus whiskey. I expect A's from Booker's. This is an A whiskey. Happy Jason. This is amazing. I really like this. The 2021 batch was really good. The 2020, don't buy it, forget it, at least in Europe with the 01. The 2019, that was good. 2019 was good. 2021 was good. 2022 was excellent. And 2023 is not as bad as the 2020, but not as good as the 2021 or 2022, in my opinion. Even the nose here, I get a lot of sassafras, a little bit of wood, a little bit of sweetness, but also a little bit more of the astringency of the wood, the tannins. This is just a miracle for me. This is wonderful. And this, I'm going to call this, and what I did in my German video is I diluted it down to 40-some%. It's Jim Beam White Label. This is not the excellence that I remember and know and enjoy of the Bookers I've had in the past. This is a high proof whiskey that is good. Cheers. There's a punch to it. You get the allspice, you get the cinnamon, you get um, the caramel, a little bit of the I mentioned baking spices already, a little bit of the pecan, um, but you also get a little bit of like a chemical moment, a little bit of heartburn. This is not the best product Booker's has ever made, and I attribute it to me. It, at least in my personal opinion, they took the barrels with 7 years, 1 month, and 2 days from the middle of the rick houses, rack four. Had they taken more from rack 5 or 6 even, I think this whiskey would have been better for that. It doesn't necessarily need more time in the cask. It just needed a little bit higher position in the warehouse to give it that little bit of a bump up there of excellence. All right. A little bit of water, moving over to 2022-02 Lumberyard batch. Now, I bought just a few months ago, we had the Elijah Craig barrel proof. That was the C 922, 62.4% for 69 euros. So remember, 62, 72, 82 would be about here. I appreciate the Elijah Craig more than this. All right, the Lumberyard. This is how bourbon, cask strength, straight from the barrel, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey should be. I cannot find a fault in this. There's maybe a twang of a pine needle moment going on in there that I don't like, but everything else, 98%, is fantastic. That is good stuff. And there's no chemical, no acetone, no bite. It's round, smooth, wonderful. No need to add water. No need to dilute this in any way. But if you put an ice cube in it, it would stand up to it forever. The feeling is there. Very, very, very nice. The 2021. Better, but also very, very nice. A tiny little bit of an astringency. This was only here 6 years and 11 months, and yet there's a little bit more of a wood spice going on in there. Nice. Very nice, actually. But this is the A, this is the B, and this is the B minus and the C plus plus on a very bad day when I'm not in a good mood. Now, my question of the day is, what is your opinion at the moment of Booker's? Have you turned your back to it and said, hey, it's $100 where I live, write down the price of the Booker's you last saw? Or is it something that you really, really still hunt and try to find? Now, over here in Germany, what we do is we have just a WhatsApp group, we have a Facebook group, and as soon as one of the stores gets it and you buy it for yourself first and then you publish and you share the link with the others, they can also go buy it. For example, this was actually in the store for 2 days before someone informed me, hey, Jason, did you say Booker's is there? And they put it in the big group, and it's like, no, thanks. I don't have a bot searching all the different... There's someone who wrote a bot. He looks for anything new in the bourbon section of the whiskey online shops here. And he found it, he bought it. He actually waited for it to arrive at his place before he actually posted the link because he wasn't sure. The picture did say 2023, but you never can trust the pictures, right? And so it worked out, and then he posted it. I bought stuff there, and then I posted in other groups and so on, and people are going there. And as soon as it's the next store, we'll do that as well. And we'll always write down the price and write down recommendations, 1 or 2 bottles. And I did a bottle share. So there's going to be, let's see here. I can get I can get 13 times 5. So basically 12 people. Yeah, 14 people, so 13 with mine. So I have 13 times 26, 27 people basically have 5 or 10, well, let's say 25 people, 5 or 10 samples because I had 2 bottles and they're going to try their sample and then buy it or not, or go to find one of these as well instead. Mm. Just doesn't deliver like it should and like it could and like it has in the past. So, what is the price of bookers in your neighborhood? What is your favorite bookers? And have you actually lost interest in try hunting for the bookers? Hunting, we hunt. We hunt online over here in Germany. We don't go to a local liquor store, but rather we have specialized whiskey shops that have their selection and newsletters. But often, even the newsletters, they don't actually send out a newsletter shot saying, "Oh, we have something new." If it was single malt Scotch from Otbeck, yes. If it's Booker's, no. And so what we have to do is we always have to look at the website, maybe refresh it once a day, go there, and then look at what's new, and then we'll see in our list. Oh, and then share it with others. So that's the community thought there. So we don't have very, very many, if any, local stores that actually stock Bookers. Not a thing. Not a thing over here. Bourbon is still a very, very niche market. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others, and don't forget thumbs up. See you soon. Whiskey Jason. Bye-bye.